Hello folks, I thought I'd give you an update on what I did next with my elderflower wine.
Yeah, most of them, all off.
Yeah, this was recorded a little while ago, about 8 days after I started the fermentation, and it was time to pour the wine off from all the flowers and the fruit and to separate all the solids out. So this is the one thing where my bottles are a little awkward, especially with the peel. You can tip them out. It takes a little bit of effort. They usually come out on their own accord though if you give it a little shake. The cloth I'm using is something I bought 4 years ago to start doing my jam making, and it's just a piece of muslin cloth that's generally available for food purposes, and just ordinary pegs holding it onto my bowl, my glass bowl, Pyrex bowl. The nice thing is, I didn't realise this last year when I was doing this. The glass bowl with these jars is a very good match. The liquid comes out and it doesn't over generously fill the bowl, and it makes this whole process very easy. So I'm struggling to get the last bits out. I recommend cutting the peel a little bit
Smells delicious.
finer, and then it all pours out a lot easier. It's usually the odd bits of the lime peel I was getting stuck. Obviously, if you're going to pour the liquid back into the same bottle, you need to give it a good rinse out. I don't usually, I didn't actually bother sterilising with this setup because I'm using the wild yeast, and the actual amount of things in my tap water are negligible compared with the power of the yeast doing the fermentation at this stage. It's usually the beginning, before the yeast have actually started going, you've got big problems with contamination. So yeah, gather the four corners together and pinch them up. And then what I do is I gather the pleated folds together too. That just makes it a nice sealed bag. And ideally you just tie it off and let it drain naturally, but nobody's got time for that. So yeah, I just ended up giving it a little bit of a twist and squeeze. The scent given off by the liquor is absolutely incredible. It's such a floral, intense scent. I couldn't for a while work out what I was going to do here. It suddenly occurred to me that the tiny little weighing scales was actually ideal for scooping it in. Made short work of it, even though I sped it up, it didn't take that long. The next job was to weigh out the final amount of sugar. Each jar needed 200 grams. And once again, I dissolve those in warm water. But as you notice, the difference in levels. Yeah, I think the star anise one actually had a slightly higher level of liquid from the must. So I reduced the half a litre to 400 millilitres. So I reduced it by 100 millilitres, just guessing that that would even up the two jars. That way I wouldn't overfill. And I was very relieved when I poured it in. Remember, it has to be cooled down. There we go. And the added fresh sugar liquid is just going to give even more food to the yeast at this stage. And you've got all the solids out there. So now, yeah, once it's at this stage and you've got rid of all the flour and the flowers and the fruit, you can get a clear view of what's going on with the fermentation. Obviously, if you've got a fermentation trap, then you'll see the bubbles going through, and that'll give you an indication what's going on. But failing that, with just a simple bung or cover like I've got, it's handy to see the raising bubbles in the actual liquid. And there we have them, two matching jars. And even at this stage, I was pleased to see that the yeast came through this process totally unperturbed and were brewing away nicely. One jar did seem to be more aggressive than the other, but still, yeah. And they did actually get far more vigorous with the hot weather that came up behind in the next few days. Well, I hope you enjoyed all that, and I'll do another video later, another update video when I come round to bottling.